Hi everyone, welcome. FPL Matt Day here, and I'm live for the Game Week 2 deadline stream. Deadline is in less than 24 hours. We have a Friday deadline, so do not forget that. This stream, we're going to go through the fixtures, some picks for the game week, as well as my team selection as well. So I'll run through that. And if there are any questions, please get them in the comments, and we'll do the usual Q&A that we do on all of these weekly live deadline streams. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel, give this video a like as well, and get some comments in. Also, put anything in the comments regarding the game week, any questions you've got, any problems with captains, transfers, injuries such as Reece James, who looks like he's going to be out for a while with a hamstring injury. Gabriel as well, doesn't look like he's going to play in this game week, with a potential move to Saudi Arabia in the works as well. So any questions, get them in. I'll bring up some comments as well. Christian, welcome to the stream. Yeah, the deadline is tomorrow. This is just the, I guess, the deadline stream, but not exactly in line with the deadline in 24 hours. We've got a question that's coming from Dino as well. And we'll bring that up in a second. I'll bring up the fixtures now, and I'll share screen just to start with, and then I'll bring up Dino's question. I'm just going to take questions as we go in the stream tonight as well. Normally I wait till the end of the podcast, but I think I'll do them as we go in the stream. And then don't stress. Yeah, I normally just say it as a deadline because it's just a stream to go through anything in the prior to deadline for the game week, mate. So yeah, let us know if you've got any questions, and let me know how your team is looking for this week. But we'll preview Nottingham Forest versus Sheffield United in a second. But first of all, we'll bring up Dino's question. So he's asked, what do I think about João Pedro starting again? I think he's got to start. They've obviously got a game against Wolves, who did look good against Man United in the week. So Pedro, I think he's got to start in this game. Looked good in the first game week against Luton, scored the pen, was unlucky not to score another goal as well. And he looked good. So, yeah, I think he has to start. Keep him in form, keep him settling into that Brighton team. So, yeah, he's in my team, mate. So I'm going to be starting João Pedro in my team again. But let's start with that Forest versus Sheffield United game. Interesting game, this one, because a lot of us are hoping Matt Turner in goal for Nottingham Forest can get a clean sheet for us. I have him at the moment. I've also got Onana as well, and I'm going to sway towards picking Matt Turner in the hope that Sheffield United do not score in this and Nottingham Forest can get a clean sheet in this one. They did have quite a few 1-0 wins at home last season. They're quite tight at the back under Cooper. So, yeah, let's see how that one goes. So, yeah, definitely keen on the Turner pick this week. Not so keen on anyone in that Sheffield United team right now myself. So, yeah, all eyes on Nottingham Forest and Matt Turner for this one, hoping he can get the clean sheet that we are all expecting. Probably that's all I'd kind of look at in this game. Maybe Morgan Gibbs-White, if he's in your team, someone you probably hope might get some points. But I probably wouldn't target Forest just yet outside of Matt Turner, because obviously he is that cheap second keeper. And I'll go with Forest to win it by 2-0. They'll get an early goal and then they'll nick the game 2-0 at the end, I think. So 2-0, start Matt Turner in this one. We'll go to Fulham Brentford in a second. Christian's just come in with another comment as well. Not sure if I should start Rashford or transfer him out, possibly for a Liverpool player. United's midfield against Wolves, it looked terrible. It did look terrible. But I think this game, you know, mate, against Spurs, I don't think we're going to keep a clean sheet. I can see it being a couple of goals, and he's got a good record against Tottenham as well. Feeling a 2-2 in this one, and Rashford's probably going to be involved somehow. I'd probably hold for now. If you can get a Liverpool midfielder in another way, or a Liverpool player in through another avenue, I would. I wouldn't move on Rashford for it, especially because he's got the good game at home to Forest in game week 3. So I'd hold for now. We'll obviously go through Spurs United in a second, but yeah, I think that game's going to be a bit of a goal feast. We've got some good comments coming in now. Onto the ball. Welcome to the stream, mate. Hope you're good. Great to be able to see you in a live stream again. I'm buzzing for this game week as well. Had a pretty good game week one, so yeah, hoping I can do the same in this game week. And he's already shipped out timber for Saliba. Yeah, you've got to. He's done his ACL, so yeah, that's a move. So that's the thing. There's some transfers where people aren't sure on the form of players, but it's one game week. But when there's injuries like this, you have to make the transfers. Let's do Fulham Brentford, and then I'll bring up the other comments that have come in from Dino and Jermaine. But if you have just tuned in, please get some comments in. Give this video a like. And subscribe if you're new here as well. But Fulham, Brentford, Fulham with a good win in game week one against Everton. Brentford, 2-2 draw against Spurs. Really entertaining game. Leno with 12 points in game week one. I think if you've got him, then start him again in this one. Anyone else from Fulham that's kind of caught my eye from game week one? Not yet, because I know their fixtures get a bit trickier after this. So probably not yet. Outside of Leno, I know there's a few people that like Ream in defence, Harry Wilson as well. For Brentford, definitely Mbeumo. Got the pen, missed an open goal from about 2 yards out as well, which he should have put away. So definitely liking that pick at 6.5 million. I think he's an absolute bargain, especially now we know he is on pens. Anyone else from Brentford? Visser as well. I thought at 6 million was a good pick. Did get more points than João Pedro. I was going to pick Visser. I went with João Pedro, who did also score anyway. There wasn't much in it between the two. It was only a couple of points. So it wasn't the worst pick. That's probably where I'm at with players in this game. Not so keen on maybe the Brentford keeper we saw start Flecken at 4.5 mil. He could potentially come in and be a decent pick over the course of the season. But right now, probably Mbeumo is the one I like, along with Visser from Brentford, and then Leno and Harry Wilson potentially at Fulham, but definitely sort of more Leno. And I think this will be a tight game. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. And those Mbeumo owners will be hoping he scores. But let's go to Liverpool-Bournemouth in a sec, and we'll bring up some comments that have come through. So if you have just tuned in, be sure to get your comments in. Dino has asked, not sure whether to keep Bruno Fernandes, but not sure who I would replace him with. It's a tough one with Bruno Fernandes because I wasn't that keen on him from game week one because I already had Rashford. And I prefer Rashford's goal threat. But I think if you've bought into Fernandes, you've got to keep him through to just beyond game week 3 because they have got that game against Forest in game week 3. So you probably want to keep him through to that. And then if he doesn't do anything post Forest in game week 3, say he doesn't return against Spurs this week, doesn't return against Forest, I'd probably be looking at someone like James Maddison as a replacement. Jermaine, welcome to the stream. I hope it's our season, mate. It's time to have a big year. I didn't have a great year last year. For those that followed the pod last year, had a good season the year before, but this year I've started really strong with 87 points. So hoping I can kick on to a big finish this season. Quick one here from Scott Nickel. Also is the Scott runs the Onto the Ball channel as well. So go and check out Onto the Ball. He's in the comments. He just said Raya started behind closed doors friendly today, so he could be number one. I think he will be number one for Arsenal. We'll go through the Arsenal game shortly, but I think he will. I just think he's a better keeper than Aaron Ramsdale. But let's do Liverpool Bournemouth, and then I'll bring up the rest of the comments that have come in. 9-0 this was last season. A lot of people have been asking me all week about captains from this game. I think you can captain any one of Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Jota as well. I like the Jota pick. I think he'll start this one. I think you can captain anyone then. If Luis Diaz starts, he got 19 points in this game last season as well. So there is a lot of potential from Liverpool in this game week. I've had a few people ask me as well that started with Virgil van Dijk. Should I keep him for this game? Yes, keep him. Tends to pop up with goals in these games. Definitely keep your Liverpool players for this match, and then you can reassess from there onwards. But yeah, Salah is definitely the captain pick for me this week against Chelsea. He hit the bar. He had a disallowed goal as well, and he did get an assist. So he was absolutely everywhere. So definitely have to look at Salah in your teams and captain him if you've got Salah this week. Otherwise, if you do have Jota, those types of players, I think you can, you can also look at captaining them as well. Let's bring up some other comments that have come in as well. I'll quickly cover Bournemouth. Who did get a good 1-1 draw game week 1. Solanke, another cheap striker option, scored. Clivert is potentially an option. I think a few people have spoken about him, Solanke. There's other picks there, but for this week, I'd probably stay clear and I'd focus on those Liverpool players. And I do think Liverpool, despite all the problems they've had in the transfer market in the last week, although they are about to sign potentially this Endo, Japanese player from Bundesliga, I think they'll still come out and win this. I can see them getting a good start at home, maybe 2-0, 3-0. Salah's a score, which will obviously be big for those managers that own him and are looking to captain him. So let's go 2-0 Liverpool. Let's bring up some of the other comments then now. Coach's Corner, welcome to the stream, mate. I hope you've been doing well. He's replaced KDB with Jota. I do think it's good because KDB's out for 4 months and Jota started against Chelsea. He's always good in these games. Think about Jota in FPL. He always plays as a forward and he's a midfielder. And he tends to pick up goals in these types of games. So I like it. Yeah, good pick. Dino's asked, is it worth taking the risk of putting Foden in for game week 2? If he's already in your squad, I'd probably start him. But if you're looking at bringing him in as a transfer, I just wouldn't bother. There's too many good players in that price range from other teams right now that you can pick from. James Maddison showed what he can do on game week 1. And he's going to play every minute possible for Spurs. You've got Mbeumo on pens at 6.5 million at Brentford. So he's a very reliable pick as well. Then you've got the likes of Eze, Diaby at Aston Villa, who we'll talk about in a minute. So there's plenty of players you can get that are going to play the whole match or most of the match. And they're going to play virtually in the attacking third the whole game. Whereas Foden, you just never know if he's going to start. And I think he played all the minutes in the Super Cup as well. So I wouldn't transfer him in if that's what you're looking at doing anyway. We've got a few watchers in the stream now, which is awesome. So please give this video a like. Subscribe if you're new. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. We're only a few subs away now. I think I was about 8 subs away from it just before the stream. So if we can get to 1,000 by the end of the stream, it'll be absolutely awesome. And get your questions in as well. We'll bring up Christian's comment in a second. Let's do Wolves versus Brighton. And this game just got a little bit interesting because Wolves were very unlucky against Man United not to get something out of the game. I know there was the penalty shout as well, which was controversial, but they did look good. Cunha looked good. Gary O'Neill's come in there and they look like a much more attacking team, not like the Wolves we saw last season and even the season before where we were just staying away from all of their players. Would I be looking at anyone right now? It's still a wait and see for Wolves. Definitely assess players like Cunha, Kilman, Sarr in goal. They're players to watch, but not to bring in actively just yet. As for Brighton, most of us have got Estupinan, Mitoma, Solly March, Jason Steele, João Pedro. So if you've got 2 of any of those or 3 of any of those, you're on the right track. Solly March scored last week. Mitoma got the assist. João Pedro scored as well. I think Pascal Gross got another goal. So lots of potential in this Brighton team, especially in this early part of the season when they don't have the Europa League. It's when they have the Europa League that we'll need to be wary of rotation because they've got quite a thin squad, I think. But still lots of quality in there. I think this game will come too soon for Wolves and Gary O'Neill to get a result. I know it's at home, but I think Brighton will edge it. Tends to be a lot of goals in Brighton games as well. So I'll go with 2-1. I don't think they'll keep the clean sheet, but I think they'll nick the game. I believe they got a good result here last season, I think it was. Or was it the season before they lost and then this last season they may have won it? Could be wrong. So if you're a Brighton fan, let me know. But yeah, definitely the likes of Pedro, Mitoma, March, start Jason Steele. all of these types of players. I think Brighton will win 2-1. So we'll do Spurs versus United. Before I do, I'll bring up some more comments that have come in. So keep getting your questions in. Christian said he's seen a couple of people on Twitter suggesting Alvarez will start and Haaland will be rested. Taking that as a huge grain of salt, mate. I would believe a very small amount that you see on Twitter, unless it comes from very strong sources or verified sources, because so many rumour mills to try and stop people captaining players or picking certain players. But if it's come from the right person, then you just never know. And Alvarez could be picked with Haaland playing in the Super Cup, but it's a big game against Newcastle. And there's just no reason to rest Haaland at this stage of the season, in my opinion. But yeah, it'd be very, very interesting if he does. Welcome to Blues Podcast. Hope you're good, mate. Everyone go and check his channel out. Give him a subscribe. Chelsea fans on the podcast, but you don't need to be a Chelsea fan to subscribe. It does plenty of football content, some fantasy football content as well. So go and check him out. Scott Nickel also thinks David Raya will take Ramsdale as a position. Yeah, as do I at the moment. I think at the end of the day, I just don't see why they would sign him otherwise if he's not going to start. And I think he could be the difference for them. Potato Edits, welcome to the stream, mate. It's good to see you back in the comments. Let's bring up some more. Let's bring up all the comments now before I do Spurs versus United, because I'm probably going to talk a bit about that game. Coach's Corner, goalkeepers are Martinez and Pickford. That's a good combo. I've actually got that exact combo. So I played the drafts version of the game, and I've got that exact combo. So yeah, can't complain with that. I'd probably start Martinez this week. Welcome to the stream, Leanne. James out would affect Chelsea clean sheet. Yeah, possibly. West Ham away is always a tough game to keep a clean sheet in anyway. But it doesn't mean, like we saw Chilwell last week, didn't get a clean sheet, but he got an assist and he had a disallowed goal, which was marginal. So if you've got Chilwell, you still play him, because the way he plays, he's almost like a left winger, the way that he plays, like a left forward. So you play Chilwell. Would I probably have Sanchez in goal right now for Chelsea? I wouldn't. It's a wait and see. But I'd still start Chilwell regardless of clean sheets being at threat. But yeah, I think Chelsea will have a backup plan for Reece James being injured, because he does obviously get a lot of injuries. And we know that as FPL managers that he does get a lot of injuries. Yeah, no Brighton players. That is very tough, mate, because they've got a good few games. But then from game week 4 onwards, their fixtures do get a little bit tougher. And then Christian just coming in, agree on the Twitter room mill. I thought it was a mad shout given the opposition. Well, that's the thing. Why would they rest him at this point of the season? They've got no reason to rest anyone unless they just don't fancy playing him. So let's go through to the Spurs versus Manchester United game. I'm actually going to be at that game. So I'm currently in Portugal. For those that follow the stream know I live in Australia, but I'm over in England and Europe at the moment. So I'm in Portugal right now, which is awesome. So you obviously there's a different background to what you'd normally see, but I'm going to be in England on Saturday night for the Spurs versus United game. So I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully Spurs can win. I'm liking what I've seen so far under Postecoglou. The football already looks a lot better, more attacking. Still mistakes in that defence, though, but that's what's going to happen when you play that type of football. But yeah, look good in the 2-2 draw against Brentford. How do I think this one's going to go? Hard to say. Spurs United games always pull up a lot of goals, a lot of controversial moments. I can see 2-2. I think it's going to be 2-2. I'd love for us to win and get that first win under Ange, but yeah, United's a tough game. They've had the number over us before in the Premier League, but I'll go with 2-2 because I think there'll be a lot of goals. So Rashford, great record against Spurs, scored at this stadium a couple of times. So definitely keep him. I'd still play Bruno Fernandes. We spoke earlier about Matt Turner. I'd still play him over Onana. Onana, I do think, will get save points in this game. That's a given. Spurs are going to have shots. They're going to create chances. But I think Turner's clean sheet potential is higher than Onana. I think Spurs will score if United defend. I know they kept the clean sheet against Wolves, but I think if they defend and play in that way against Spurs, they'll struggle to keep a clean sheet. And the only risk as well is if Man United do win this 1-0 or take a 2-0 win, and Nana will get a huge double-digit score. But I can't see it. I think Spurs will score. Let's go 2-2. But you still got to play your Man United attacking players. As for Spurs, James Maddison definitely starting. He was just the heartbeat of everything good about Tottenham against Brentford. Start the likes of Richarlison as well. Still got in 2 or 3 good positions. And he led the line pretty well. So I think start him if you've got him in that midfield, and still start Son. This is a home game for Spurs as well, and I could definitely see some goals. So start those players. And Maddison, someone as well, if you haven't got him in your team yet, use this game as another sort of scouting session to see if he's someone you fancy putting in, because I'm keeping tabs on him right now. Welcome to the stream, mate. Hope you were good, Eunice. It's been a while. Obviously, you're in the streams most weeks last season, so great to see you in here. Yeah, I'm loving that Maddison pick as well. And I like the 3-2 Spurs prediction as well, hopefully. But yeah, I feel like a 2-2. 2-2, 3-2. I'll go with 2-2 for the score prediction. We'll go through this question. We'll go through this question when we preview Aston Villa. Do you think it's worth switching things around to fit Harry Kane in? We all know that's probably a bit of a joke, obviously, given Harry Kane is now at Bundesliga, unless he's playing Bundesliga fantasy, but we don't play that on this channel. We only play FPL and UEFA fantasy. Although if this was the UCL fantasy pod, I'd probably say yes, fit your team around to put Harry Kane in, but we don't need him this season as he has left. But let's go to Man City versus Newcastle. Big game for both teams early on. Newcastle, great result, 5-1 against Villa. Man City, great result away at Burnley, 3-0. Play Haaland. Play any Newcastle attacking assets you've got. Wilson, Isaac, if they happen to be in your team. Although I do think Isaac will get the start and Wilson will come off the bench. But I don't think many people have got Newcastle defenders, and they'll probably be able to bench them anyway. As for City, we've got this one here. Going to give Foden one last chance and then get Maddison. I think it's probably fair. Like, it's not worth knee-jerking. Like, give Foden that first game, that second game. And if he doesn't get the minutes or doesn't do anything in the minutes he gets, then just switch him straight for Maddison. Be careful of a potential price rise from Maddison if it hasn't happened. A lot of these price rises tend to happen whilst I'm on streams. So yeah, and be careful of any price falls if a lot of people fire sale Foden. But yeah, right now it's all about Haaland. He's the one you have from City. Maybe one of their defenders. I think Akanji is always handy to have. Kyle Walker when he gets his minutes, but me personally, I'm just not interested in any rotation. I know they're great players, Bernardo Silva, Foden, Alvarez, but if they're not starting every week, it's just not worth having them in FPL. But yeah, tough game for both teams. I think it's going to be 2-1 to Man City. I think Newcastle will score. I think City will get a couple of goals. So we'll go 2-1 to City in that one. And you never know, the week we're all deciding to captain Salah. Haaland might come out and get 2 or 3 goals. It's just what he does. AGT Edits, welcome to the stream. I hope you're well, mate. Yep, if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of this stream, if it's possible. And if it's not, we're trying to get it but prior to the Game Week 2 deadline in 24 hours. We'll preview Villa Everton in a second. Scott's just saying he's got Diaby up front with Haaland. So no, and he's relating back to this comment from Leanne, which we'll go through now because Villa have got Everton. So this is the next one. Let's talk about Villa first. They lost 5-1 last week, but they impressed in some parts of the game. And then they just played this really high line and, yeah, got absolutely annihilated by Newcastle. I don't think they'll have the same problems against Everton. They looked really poor against Fulham, really, really toothless going forward. So, yeah, not too worried about the Everton attack in this one. Play Ollie Watkins. He's asking here, would you switch Watkins to Diaby? Well, Diaby's a midfielder in the game, so you actually can't do a like-for-like swap. And Watkins, although Scott's saying, hold on, let's double check. Let's double check. I thought that Diaby was a. Let's go into the stats. Aston Villa. Yeah, so Diaby here, as you can see, he's a midfielder. So you actually don't need to switch Watkins for him because he's classified as a midfielder. So there's no need to make that change, mate. You shouldn't need to do it. So what you can do is keep Ollie Watkins up front. Play him because this is a great fixture for Watkins. These are the games he scores in. Everton don't look great. And then if you also want to double up and have Diaby, it's not the worst idea because, like Scott said here, Diaby is actually playing as a forward for Villa right now, and he scored in game week 1, really good goal. And he's classified as a midfielder, so you get more points if he scores. They're probably the two I'd focus on with Villa right now. Mings has had that horrible injury, so sell him. Buendia, big injury as well. He was someone I was looking at. And then if you've got the Martinez pick for debate, pick Martinez this week. For Everton, there's no one I'm looking at right now. There's no one I'm picking. I was keeping tabs on Danjuma, also Calvert-Lewin, but his fitness has just gone again. So, yeah, not so worried about any Everton players right now. And I think Villa are going to win comfortably and bounce back from last week. I'm going to go 2-0. Ollie Watkins to break his duck and Diaby owners to be rewarded with another goal this week. Onto the ball is correct. It's a massive game between Spurs and Man United and Man City, Newcastle, the games we went on about before. Coach's Corner, it's a 2-1 City, but can see a 2-2 draw and unsure whether to make Haaland captain. I'll go through some captains once I've done the fixture preview. Captain in Salah. Yeah, I like that pick. Watkins and Haaland up front. I think that's really good. Younes saying Watkins, Diaby and Cash. Yeah, I don't mind Cash as well, especially once we start seeing some clean sheets from Villa. And onto the ball, just saying he meant Watkins and Haaland up front. We've got a couple more comments that have come in, so we'll bring them up in a sec. Please continue to get your questions in for Game Week 2. The deadline is in under 24 hours. Subscribe if you're new. Give the video a like as well. Let's go into West Ham versus Chelsea. West Ham actually got an okay result away from home at Bournemouth in Game Week 1. Jared Bowen looked good, got the goal, very good goal as well. If you've got him, keep him. He actually scored in this fixture last season. Chelsea, if you've got Chilwell, play Chilwell. Like I said, even if they don't keep a clean sheet, Chilwell is someone you need to play because he's got that attacking threat. Keep some tabs on Enzo Fernandez. Looks like he's been getting forward a lot in this Poch team. So definitely start looking at players as well, like Jackson at 7 million. Because from here on, after this fixture, Chelsea start getting some nice games with the likes of Luton at home in Game Week 3 and some good fixtures after that. So that's who I'd be looking at and aiming for. But this game, I'm going to say maybe a 1-1 draw or 2-1 Chelsea. Yeah, tricky one. Maybe Chelsea to edge it 2-1, Pochettino to get his first win. And I could see Chilwell getting an attacking return in this one. So definitely someone to look at bring in. But let's bring up some more comments. Younes is rolling his free transfer. So am I. I'm going to go through my team selection shortly. So I'll be doing the same. Do I reckon that Diaz will continue playing? I definitely think he'll keep performing when he does play. And I think he will. I think he will keep playing up until Europa League for Liverpool. So that's when they might look at making changes. But I think right now, Jota, Salah and Diaz will be the preferred front three for the time being. And we'll just see how they go, see if they score, see if they get returns. Coach's Corner has made a very good point here. Imagine if you had Mings and KDB. What if you had Mings, Reece James, KDB, Gabriel and John Stones, which quite a lot of people have had, I've heard. So That would be even worse. And Timber. Yeah, and Timber as well. Let's preview Palace versus Arsenal, and then I'm going to bring up all the other comments that have come in. So start getting some questions in ready for game week 2. Any more questions you've got. And what I'll do after this, I'll bring up the comments we've got so far. I'll go through a couple of differentials and captains, and then I'll show you my team for this week. So Palace Arsenal, start with Palace. Definitely play Eze. He was brilliant in the first game week. Arsenal showed that they're not 100% rock solid at the back and did concede. So keep Eze. Give him a couple more games. I'd probably leave it at that with Palace in terms of midfielders and attackers. Johnson isn't the worst pick. I know people have gone for Anderson as well in defence. Johnson's a nice 4.5 million keeper. And then as for Arsenal, still Saka, Martinelli. And I'm liking the Nketiah pick this week. Now we know Jesus is out for a while, and Nketiah is obviously a really cheap pick. And I think Arsenal will win this. I'm going to go with another 2-1. I think they'll edge it. They'll go 2-0 up, and then Eze maybe to nick a consolation at the end. So 2-1 to Arsenal. But we'll stop the share screen now until we go to my my team selection. So let's bring up all the comments. So onto the ball. Diaz is a fixture in the LFC side. Yeah, I think he is as well. Younes Dine is leaving apparently, and they might bring in Acuna. Yeah, and I've seen they're also looking at that. Is it Zanoli that's coming in from Galatasaray? Used to play at Roma. So yeah, Villa making some big signings. AGT, guess you want to subscribe. Nice live, thanks mate. Yeah, it'd be great if we can get some new subscribers in so we can get to that 1,000. Nino is going to give James Milner one more week to load transfer for Eze. So he's got James Milner in his side, which is an interesting one because he is playing as a defender currently for Brighton, but he's classified as a midfielder. Probably not someone who normally gets FPL points. So, yeah, you might want to look at making that move as quickly as possible. Younes has asked, Foden plus Shaw better than Chilwell and Mbeumo, or Foden and Baldock, Maddison and Gusto? I like Chilwell and Mbeumo from all of those combos because Chilwell, we've already seen what he can do, even if Chelsea don't keep a clean sheet. They've got good fixtures from game week 3 onwards. And then Mbeumo, already seen he's on pens. Brentford, great fixtures. So that's the best combo for me right now. All right, so if no other questions come in right now, I'll look to do my team selection in a second. But first, I'll go through my 3 captain picks that I like. So 3rd place, Saka. 2nd place, Haaland's going in at number 2 this week. Not necessarily because he played the 90 minutes in the Super Cup, but because number 1 pick Salah against Chelsea didn't score, disallowed goal, hit the bar, assist. And I feel he's not going to go 2 game weeks without a goal. Loves getting big scores in the early stages of the season. So hoping Salah is going to be that big captain pick for Liverpool this week. So I'm going to go Salah in my team. And then some differential picks. Jota at 3%. Really big differential for Liverpool. Bournemouth fixture. Types of games he loves to score in. Nketiah for Arsenal at 5.5 million. What a bargain. Leading the line for them whilst Jesus is injured as well. So a couple of nice differential picks there. And as I said before, keep some tabs on James Maddison. Watch the Spurs United game. See how he performs. If he scores or gets another assist, he's someone you need to look at bringing in. The Spurs have some really nice fixtures coming up. So I'll bring up these next few comments anytime, mate. Nino is just saying, after getting top 2 mil last year with no Haaland, I'm going to continue without him. So, yeah, bold strategy. But if that is what you want to do, then fair enough. Jermaine is tempted to sell Bruno for Maddison, which I like. I like that. But I think I said earlier with Bruno, could be one you give him up to game week 3 and then you just fire sell and then go Maddison. Saka, Haaland, Salah first choice. I like that. Same as my captains. And welcome to the stream, mate. It's great to have you in. And yeah, we are all on the Mo Salah train. So liking him as a captain. So let's share screen. I'm going to go on my team selection now. So I'll show everyone my performance from last week. So let's go to my team. So I had a good week. I've got 87 points. So let's bring it up here. As you can see here, have a look at this. I'll highlight this. 8.7 million players have registered this season. That's a lot. That's a lot. I think it is more than last season. Or is it just under? If anyone knows, let me know. But 87 points. And Nano at 9. Saliba, Chilwell, Estupinan, Salah, Eze, Saka, Mitoma, Rashford, Pedro, and Haaland. Only Rashford and Eze not to return attacking returns, but they did get clean sheet points in there. And then on my bench, Turner, Mubama, Baldock, and Bayer. Obviously, no game between Luton and Burnley this week as well. So I thought I'd add that in there. Only 9 games. Effectively a blank game week, if you want to call it that. But 9 returns from 11 players. Was a little bit disappointed in Eze not returning in that game. That was the game I was hoping for a haul from him. Got the 90 minutes. Had a lot of shots from goal as well. Yeah, it was really, really unfortunate in that one. But I'm going to keep him. A little bit of me does wish I had Mbeumo in there instead of him. I'd have had a few more points and a nice fixture against Fulham. If you look at these fixtures for Eze, if he can grab a goal in this one against Arsenal, he then matches up against Mbeumo in game week 3. They're the type of games against Brentford. Palace will be wanting to get points from. Then Wolves in game week 4. Villa, who look very open at the back. And then Fulham in game week 6. And then depending on how he does, up until probably that game week 5 or 6 time is where you want to think, all right, do I still want in my team? And then you kind of wait, look at moving him out. And then that game week 11 onwards is when they have a nice run again. But for now, I'm holding Eze. So that's my current points. Overall rank has gone to 128k, which is a good start to the season. I'm very happy with this. Average of 55 points. So we'll go to this week's lineup. I've just stopped sharing the screen, so I just need to share that again now. So sorry, everyone. Let's share that again. I'll bring up these comments first, and then I'm going to share my team for this game week. Eunice, great start, to be fair. It was a good start, mate. Thanks. I was really happy with it. We all know I had a frustrating season last year. So to have a strong start this year, I'm hoping I can stay in and around that kind of top 100 to top 50k or get that kind of rank and push on for a really big season. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? 11 million managers last season. So it has gone down a bit. And no, mate, no Spurs assets. I know a lot of people are quite surprised. I was going to start with Maddison. So he was in there and he was ready to go. And then I changed the team around so I could have Salah in there for the first few game weeks. So, yeah, and do I regret it? Not yet. Let's see how Salah goes this weekend. But I'm looking, you'll see when I'll show you my transfers for this week. So, yeah, we'll see how I go with my team selection. I'll show you the transfers and what my plans are. I hope so, mate. I'm really hoping to hit 1k subs by the end of this game week or start of this game week. Nino just said, if he's honest, if you would have hit the 90 point mark, then I transfer Haaland out for someone cheaper. Yeah, absolutely not happening, mate. Bazinga, will Gabriel start? I don't think he will. I've seen some stuff from Arteta saying that it was tactical. There's apparently a bid from Saudi Arabia. He's only 23 years old. He's up and coming. And he's looking at going to Saudi Arabia already, which is really, really disappointing for Arsenal fans. But let's share screen again. I'll show you my team for this week. I normally do a team selection video, but I thought I'd show this live on the stream, and then I'll do a final reveal on a short tomorrow. And if you haven't done already, go and check out all of my shorts. You can see them on YouTube. I've got all my differentials, favorite picks, captains on there again if you just want to rewatch. But this is my team. I've got Turner in goal over Onana. Turner's only got a 1.5 points expected. Onana's got 3.7. But I'm backing Spurs to score a couple of goals, and I'm hoping Forest can keep it tight. This could easily backfire, but let's hope it doesn't. Saliba, who I'd originally gone for instead of Gabriel, playing away at Palace. Chilwell, 2.1 expected points. I think he's going to get an attacking return in this one for Chelsea. Estupinan in there, very highly owned. No changes to that defence. Midfield stays exactly the same as last week, but the captain's armband goes on Salah. He's got an expected points of 9. In saying that, I wonder if that's just because, okay, so he's got 4.5 expected points, but 9 as captain. Meaning Haaland has got 5.5 points expected at home to Newcastle. So it's really going to be the battle of Salah and Haaland this week. So my team is unchanged. I'm making no transfers. I'm rolling over the transfer. I want to have 2 transfers going into game week 3. A couple of options I did look at. If I was going to make some panic sales, I'd potentially go Eze out and Mbeumo in. Or Diaby. I like Diaby this week against Villa. Very, very good shout. But I'm going to keep the faith in Eze because I want to see how he goes in the Arsenal game on Monday night. And then if he can grab a goal in that, he looks brilliant for Brentford and Wolves away, which obviously I spoke about before. But that's my team. We go to all my mini leagues. If you have a look here, I'm in so many mini leagues. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's a few people watching the stream. Onto the Ball's one of them. I'm in one of his mini leagues. FPL Rue, another good YouTube account. I think Two Blues, he's been in the comments. He's got a league in here somewhere as well. I'm in plenty of head-to-heads as well. Squad value is 99.1 million with 0.5 in the bank. So I'm very happy to have some spare change in the bank. And that captain's armband is not going to change. It's going to stay on Haaland. Yeah, let's bring up the other comments that come in. Thanks, mate. Is that your team that's looking good in the mini league, mate? Because if it is, let me know where your team is ranked, mate, in the comments, and I will look out for it. Because yeah, my mini league, I think it's got about 1,000 players in there, so it's really hard to keep track of it. Interesting about Zinchenko. Is he going to start? Can you let me know, mate, in the comments? Because I actually just swapped him out in my draft mode of the game, so I might have to bring him back in. And welcome to the stream, mate. Bird on a Banjo from Twitch. If you are on YouTube, mate, come and give us a sub on YouTube. But look, it looks like we're probably about done now. Not many other viewers sort of coming in the stream, which is fine. So if there's any last minute questions, get them in now in the comments. Eunice has said we've got the same team apart from Eze, Chilwell, and Onana. I think this season so far, there's about 90% of FPL teams that look so similar. So yeah, it looks like we're all hopefully on the right track for some points. And not sure about Zinchenko, but he's training. So yeah, that's very, very good to know. Well, now Timber's out. It might mean Zinchenko comes back in. But look, let's leave it there. No more questions have come in. If you've got any last minute ones, let me know. And thanks everyone, including Bird on Banjo, who subscribed to the channel tonight. Remember, there's a weekly FPL content live podcast where you can get involved in the questions, shorts pretty much every day or every other day, team selections, wildcard videos, and tips videos. So be sure to subscribe, like this video, continue to get your comments in, and also share this channel to all of your friends as well if you haven't done already. You can also find me FPL Matt Day on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram as well. And Jermaine just saying he's Wakanda FC and he's 9th in the mini league, which is impressive because that mini league has, I think, 1,000 players. And good luck to you as well. Good luck to everyone for game week 2 that's tuned into the stream. Remember, the deadline is tomorrow night, so do not forget it. 6:15 p.m. UK time, so don't miss that deadline. I'll still be here in Europe next week for the stream, so I'll be in this time zone again before I head back to Australia. So thanks to everyone that's tuned in tonight. Really appreciate all of the support. Keep a lookout for some more shorts prior to deadline, and go and check out the other ones that are on the channel now as well. I'm FPL Matt Day. I'll see you all in the next one. Good luck for game week 2. Bye for now.